At my wedding reception, my father-in-law leaned over, smiled, and whispered 4 words that I thought were a joke. No deposit, no return. I thought he was talking about the rental tuxedo. I didn't realize it was a warning. He thought I was an asset to be used and discarded, but he made one fatal mistake. He underestimated the woman he was trying to break. My name is Martha, and this is how I turned their own cruel policy into their total destruction. At our wedding reception, my father-in-law, Ian, leaned over. The band was playing, everyone was laughing, and he took a sip of his champagne, looked me dead in the eye, and with a wry smile whispered, "No deposit, no return." I thought he was making a joke about the rental tuxedo, or maybe the open bar. I laughed it off. I was naive. I was in love, and I thought I was marrying into a family. I didn't know then that those 4 words were a contract, a warning, a prophecy. He wasn't talking about the party. He was talking about me. To them, I wasn't a daughter-in-law. I was an asset, something to be used until I was broken and then discarded. No deposit, no return. But Ian made one mistake. He underestimated the woman he was trying to discard. Because when you treat a person like trash, you shouldn't be surprised when they rise up like fire. My name is Martha, and this is the story of how I turned their no-return policy into their total destruction. Let's go back to the beginning. When I met David, he was charming, quiet, a bit overshadowed by his loud, wealthy family. His father, Ian, owned a chain of hardware stores. His mother, Marva, ran the social circle like a dictator. And his sister, Jess? She was Ian's mini-me, cruel, entitled, and always watching. When David and I got engaged, Ian insisted we move into the family estate, a large guest house on their property. To save money for the future, Ian said, "We're family. We look out for each other." It sounded generous, but looking back, it was a trap. From day one, the boundaries vanished. Marva would let herself into our house with her key to water the plants, which she never did, but she'd snoop through our drawers. Jess would borrow my car and return it with an empty tank and a scratch on the bumper. "Oh, relax, Martha," she'd say. "It's just a car. We're family." And David? David said nothing. Every time I tried to set a boundary, he'd sigh. "Martha, please. They're just trying to help. Don't be difficult. You know what Dad says. No deposit, no return. We have to play the game." I started to hate those words. No deposit, no return. It became their mantra for everything. Borrowing money? No deposit, no return. Using our credit cards? No deposit, no return. Treating me like a servant? No deposit, no return. I was the deposit, and they were spending me. So, the breaking point came 2 years into the marriage. I had inherited a modest sum from my grandmother, $50,000. It was meant for a down payment on our own home, a way to finally move out of Ian's shadow. I kept it quiet. But in that house, secrets don't stay buried. One evening, I came home early from work. I heard voices in the study. Ian, Marva, Jess, and David. The door was cracked. "She's sitting on 50 grand, Ian's voice boomed. "That's liquid capital. We can leverage that for the new store expansion. Tell her it's an investment." "Dad, I can't just take her inheritance," David stammered. "Don't be weak, David," Marva snapped. "She's part of this family now. Her money is our money. No deposit, no return. If she leaves with nothing. That's the deal." Jess laughed. "Besides, she's too soft to fight. She'll sign whatever you put in front of her." I stood there frozen. They weren't just borrowing. They were planning to steal, to coerce me into signing over my life savings for their business with their terms. And if I ever tried to leave David, I'd get nothing, no deposit, no return. I didn't burst in. I didn't scream. I quietly backed away, went to my car, and drove. I drove straight to my friend Kathy's house. Kathy is a paralegal. When I told her what I heard, she didn't gasp. She got angry. "Martha," she said, pouring me a glass of wine. "This isn't just greedy. This is fraud, coercion. And if they think you're going to sign anything, they have another thing coming. But you can't fight them alone. You need a shark." She gave me a number. "Marlin." a lawyer who specialized in family asset protection. And let me tell you, Marlon was the biggest shark in the city. Marlon listened to my story. He looked at the texts David had sent me, subtly pressuring me about the money. He looked at the loan agreements Ian had drafted, vague, predatory things designed to strip me of ownership. "They think you're a deposit," Marlon said, leaning back in his chair. "Let's show them you're the bank." Here was the plan. I wouldn't say no. Oh no, I was going to say yes. I told David I was ready to invest. I told him I trusted the family. Ian was ecstatic. Marva threw a dinner party to celebrate. Jess even hugged me. They thought they'd won. They thought the no deposit, no return rule applied to me. The meeting was set for a Tuesday at Ian's office. All of them there, Ian, Marva, Jess, and David, ready to witness me sign my life away. I walked in with Marlon beside me. Ian smiled. "Ready to join the team, Martha?" "I am," I said. I sat down. I picked up the pen, but before I signed, Marlon cleared his throat. "Before my client signs, we have a few addendums to the agreement. Standard protection clauses." Ian waved his hand. Sure, whatever." Marlon slid a new stack of papers across the desk. Clause 1. The $50,000 is not a loan. It is a convertible equity stake granting Martha 51% controlling interest in the new expansion project. Clause 2. In the event of mismanagement or failure to meet quarterly projections, which, based on your last 3 years of tax returns, is highly likely, Martha has the right to foreclose on the collateral. Ian's smile vanished. "What collateral?" Marlon smiled. It was a terrifying smile. "The original family estate, the land, the houses, including the one you're all sitting in right now." The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. "You can't be serious!" Jess shrieked. "Dead serious," I said, my voice steady. "You said it yourself, Ian. No deposit, no return. Well, I'm making a deposit, and if you fail, I'm returning the favor. I'm taking it all." David looked pale. "Martha, please." "Sign, Ian," Marlon said, tapping the paper. "Or the deal is off, and I'd hate for the IRS to see those unreported loans you've been taking from the business." Ian's hands shook. He was trapped. He needed the money. He thought he was the predator, but he had just walked into a cage. He signed. Marva signed. Jess signed. Even David signed. They thought they were getting my money. Instead, they had signed over their empire to me. It took exactly 18 months. The new store expansion was a disaster. Ian overextended. He mismanaged funds, just as Marlon predicted. When the first projection was missed, I exercised my clause. I didn't do it out of anger. I did it out of business. I called in the loan. I foreclosed on the collateral. The family estate? Mine. The hardware stores? Under my controlling interest. Ian tried to fight it. He screamed about family. He cried about betrayal. He reminded me of his no deposit, no return rule. I looked him in the eye, just like he did at my wedding. "You were right, Ian," I said. "No deposit, no return. You deposited your greed. Now you're getting nothing in return." They had 30 days to vacate. David begged for forgiveness. He said he loved me, but I remembered the study. I remembered the plan to steal my inheritance. Love doesn't forgive premeditated theft. I sold the estate. I liquidated the business assets. I took my $50,000 back, plus the profits from the sale. Last I heard, Ian and Marva are living in a small condo in Florida. Jess is working retail. And David? He's alone. I bought a beautiful house, not on anyone's property, on my own land, with a lock on the door that only I control. Sometimes people will try to treat you like a transaction, like you're something they can use and discard. But remember, you hold the pen. You set the terms. And if they say, no deposit, no return, you make sure they understand that they are the ones who will be left with nothing. This is my story vault, where stories of betrayal end with justice. If you enjoyed this tale of revenge, hit the like button and subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what's the boldest move you've ever made to protect yourself? Until next time, keep your keys in your pocket and your enemies' clothes.